Hey guys, welcome to another episode. It's been a little while since we've done a video, but we are finally back at the house. The garage has kind of turned into a bit of a storage unit since the house is being worked on. So we're going to have to be working around that, moving some stuff in and out as we do these projects, but that's okay because it's all worth it. So today we're going to work on the 850's cooling system. So we're going to have the radiator installed, install the water pump. We have a new water pump. If you follow me on Instagram, Garage Time TV, you would see that post because I keep Instagram pretty updated with in between projects and things like that. So we'll be installing that water pump and putting the generator in and trying our best to wrap up this engine. That way we're done back here and we can finish with the interior. This morning I did lay some carpet down on the interior and it makes all the difference, but I'll show you guys that at the end as we get there. So let's jump in this engine bay and we'll knock it out. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is work on our water pump. We've got a new gasket, we've got our water pump, and we've got some Mega Black silicone high temperature gasket maker. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to zip through this real quick, but I'm going to just put a nice bead around each one of the holes, all the way around this main port, because this is where all the coolant comes in and out of. There's just kind of an extra support here. So we're just going to make sure we have a nice strong seal along that. And we'll attach that to the engine block. And then we'll put some on this side in the same fashion, all along here. And then we'll let that sit for a minute so it'll harden up, get a little bit more spongy. That way, one, it'll help hold it on the engine bay. And we know it's making a good seal because we don't want to torque it too soon and just squish it all out. So let's zip through this real quick and put this on there. Alright, so I've got you guys down in the engine bay. I already have the radiator installed with the new hoses. Your thermostat is right here behind the carburetor. And we talked about that during our engine build episode. It'll be up here, one of these corners. Up here is where that'll be. And we talked about that thermostat that's in there. There's 4 bolts that hold it in, one in each corner. And there's also a shroud that goes on here. I've got it over on the side. But we're not going to worry about that until we get the rest of this in. I'm not going to be using the factory yellow fan. I'm going to have one that'll go right on it to help suck it out a little bit faster, move air a little faster than the factory one. And it'll just be an electric fan that comes on as soon as the car does, just because the factory one, the fan came on as soon as the engine started anyway, so it's not really hurting anything. So I've hooked up these hoses. These are brand new hoses. I've got those hooked up down there. I've also got the other hoses attached for our water temperature sensor here, all the way around to the thermostat, and around it goes. So what I find easier to do is to leave the generator off and to do this, do the water pump with it out of the way, because you do have to get all the way down here. So one thing we're going to do is, with our bolts, these are not the right bolts. With these bolts, I'm going to clean them up. You see how they're all nasty. I'm going to clean those up on a wire wheel really quick. I'm just going to put some plumber's tape on them, some the white stuff. Looks like somebody's already done that before me. But we'll do that just so we help prevent any leaks in the future. So I'm going to go clean these up. And by the time I finish these, our gasket maker should be set. We can start assembly here. Alright, so we've got our bolts clean. I'm going to set these aside. We're going to grab our gasket. Got our gasket here. It's not the prettiest, but it's better than having none on it. So we're going to put this onto it that way, and then the water pump on here, so that way it's double-sided with the gasket maker. It's been a few minutes, so this should be firming up, but not so much to where we can't hold it here. Alright. Alright, so we see how that holds itself on there. Let me see if I can get you a little bit better angle here. Zoom in on it. See how it holds itself there? So that's holding itself on there. We're going to bring our water pump around with one of our bolts. I'm not going to tape them. They're blind holes, so they don't go all the way through the block. So there's no reason to plumber's tape these. Get this out of our way. Come on. There we go. Underneath these wires. I like to have one of these on there right away as kind of our guide. Push that one out of the way. We've got one started. You don't want that gasket to walk on you too much, because you'll be smearing that gasket maker all over the place. Okay, so I just have those just snug. They're not super tight. It's just to help that gasket maker. You can kind of see if it'll kind of see where it oozed out the top there, right on the top. So we're not going to tighten that down until we have that set a little more. So the next thing we're going to do is probably put on the pulley, which is right here. Put the pulley on. I have to get the key off of the old one. Put the key on it, and then put this on it. It's got just the 3 shims and 2 on the outside. Sorry, 3 on the inside, 2 on the outside. That's starting point. If you need to adjust it, you can with these shims. These are only 10 millimeters. And then we'll put our generator on. We'll see if we have fitment issues with our starter. The generator's really long, and so I think the ends get pretty close or touch. So we'll have to see if that's the case. But I'm just going to put the key on there, do this, whip through that really quick, just give y'all a quick time lapse, because y'all get the idea. So let me knock this out. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is add our nut and retaining washer to the water pump pulley. I didn't want to secure it all the way until I saw that these were lined up. So when I look, these are in a straight line and these are in a straight line. They might be a little off, but I can probably adjust that. You don't want it too far off because that's going to wear out your belt pretty fast. But this has got a retaining tab on the back, and that's what goes in the key shaft. Like that. And then we're going to put our nut on. Yep, gotta put it on the right way. Don't drop it. Alright. So we've got the I'm going to start it by hand. I've got my little air ratchet. I'm just going to run it in there real quick, so noise alert. It's going to be loud for a second. Alright, just like that. That's on there. And so you bend back one of the tabs onto the nut, and that retains it. We're going to grab these. And we're just going to bend back this one because it looks like it's already been started. Get man, I cannot find anything today. Having everything in the garage from the house is not helping me any, so. Alright. And I don't know how well it's gonna, I'll get y'all in there. You'll see that it's bent over. So you'll see I've got that tab bent on top of that, and we can spin. Nice and easy. You can see that these are in line, and then these are in line. So that's a lot of the work done. It's just going to be reattaching these hoses on the bottom from the radiator, and then attaching this top hose from the thermostat here, and filling up the system and attaching the belts and the rest of the wiring, and that's going to be it. So I'm going to put you all back here on the stand, and we are going to knock this out. There we go. Get this taken care of, and we are going to just zip through this really quick. So let's time lapse it. Alright, so we're going to be installing our overflow tank, but this is pretty crusty, and the hose is pretty hard. So this is going to be just a temporary one for now. That way we have it, so that way the coolant can expand, at least go somewhere. But I can get a new one of these, and obviously a new hose also, because this is like super stiff. So we're just going to throw this in there just for now. It's not going to be our long time tank, so don't worry, it's gonna get replaced. Just don't have it this very second. So alright, so I got this kinda in there, and of course the hose is so hard that it doesn't want to go around the outlet for it, so we're just gonna go with it. We're putting in some of the coolant that leaked out of it when I first filled it up to test the first water pump. So we're just going to reuse this. We're obviously going to do a flush. Again, we're not going to keep this in there. Still need some more. Definitely a ugly color, but just for now this will do the job for us. We'll get some good coolant in it once we get the fan. Well, the good sign is by this point last time it was already leaking. Alright, so the good news is we got the coolant all in there, and I was going so fast expecting it to leak like last time that we were like up to the top. We're not leaking anywhere. Not at the bottom, not here. Not at the gasket over there, if I don't bump y'all into everything. We're not leaking over here. I don't see anything underneath. So I'll take that as good. So, that's nice. So the next time we go to start this thing up, we'll be able to run the coolant through it, and we'll be able to probably run it for a little longer. That way we can diagnose any sort of issues with the gauges, which should be the next thing. So let me show you guys what I did this morning before I did the video with the interior. That way y'all can be caught up. Alright, so we're walking over here to the interior. Don't mind the mess, but we finally got some carpet in the car. Brand new carpet, cut it all, fits really nice, really clean, easy, simple to do. With the old floor mats that were in here, I was able to use those as a template to draw all this out, and it worked out just fine. So you had to make some trims, but looks good. And I've been working on putting this convertible top back in. The bolt over there has been giving me a hard time, so I moved on, not to get frustrated. So then we'll go up here to the engine bay. I was able to paint it to match, and we got some carpet down there. I've got the cover for it right there on top of the fridge. So that's all on there, charging the battery. This is all taken care of. So we are very close to wrapping this up, just putting the seats in it, testing out the gauges that don't want to work for us. I think it's a ground issue behind the dash, the ground pod, because most of the gauges don't want to work except for the tach, of course. And we have this. It just got a big cutout for where a CD player or DVD, not DVD, a radio goes. So I'm going to see if I can come up with some sort of blank delete for that. Oh, here it is. I've got it right here. See, it's got a big old hole in it. So we're going to see if we can come up with a delete. But anyway, this is what's going on in here. And of course, we just wrapped up this cooling system and giving you all a few updates. And I think that's going to do it, but let me close y'all out. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for the cooling system and giving y'all a quick update about what's going on. We still have to go get the fan. It's just going to be like a 10-inch electric fan that you just wire in. There's a lot of videos on that. It's very simple, straightforward. There's like a zip tie that goes through the fins and all that. But I wanted to make sure that this works before we spend the money on that fan. And we've got the belts on. We've got everything plugged in, wired. So I would like to think within the next video, maybe two, maybe one, maybe the next video. We'll see. Time will tell. Because we've got a big old dumpster in our driveway, so I can't really go anywhere. But maybe on the next video we'll get a drive on this and get it on the road for the first time since, when are these plates from? They don't even have a sticker on them, they're so old. So anyway, that's going to do it for us today, guys. Just make sure you like, subscribe, please subscribe. Only about 25% of you actually subscribe that watch these videos, and I really appreciate it if you did. It helps me to know that I'm doing what's helping you guys out. It's something that is informative and helping you. That gives me purpose to keep doing this. So make sure you subscribe, like, comment, follow me on Instagram, Garage Time TV, for up-to-the-minute updates and things that are new coming in, small side projects. We usually go on Instagram only and not always make it to YouTube. So until then, guys, we'll see you, and thanks for tuning in.